legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
But it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
It's the WURD Hot 60.
Hot 60.
Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed this week on The Source.
Let me stop you, because one of the things that the brand new council members are doing, and it's not just Anthony Phillips, is that they're trying to change some of the bureaucracy that's always been what it is. Let me tell you something. When I first moved into Abington and was living there, I talked to a lot of the community leaders, the people that everybody loved and respected, and they said to me, "You can't change this. These Negroes ain't gonna be no better, and you're an outsider coming in doing blah 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 blah." And I could have gotten dejected and walked away, but let me tell you something. Somebody has to stand in the gap and say, enough is enough. I turned around and flipped that script. By the time they looked up and saw all those people supporting and doing what they were supposed to do, and the things began to change. We cannot just sit and say, nothing is ever going to change. Somebody has to try.
And that's the hottest 60 seconds this week on The Source on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Celebrating 20 years of progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD, 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on Word Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L. O. G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Family, hello and welcome to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Here we are, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday, September 26th to be exact. Ooh, heavens to Murgatroyd. Nick and I are always happy to have you join us, as you well know. You know we are. I'm sending birthday love to you if you are celebrating a birthday. I hope you're being celebrated in a grand way. How about that? Family, if you are on our socials, let us know that you're out there. Let us know that you are ready to join the conversation. Or you can always give us a call, and you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. And if you'd like to share some love with us, any other way, send us a smoke signal if you can, because we'll take it that way too. But all of my extra love and hugs are going out to you today. If your light is shining just a little bit dimly, you hear me? Even a little dimly. I'm sending extra love and hugs to you, especially if you're navigating the loss of a loved one. I just want you to know that on behalf of your tribe and your village, that you are not alone. You hear me? You are not alone. Well, all right, family, as we get started, I do want to let you know that some of our family members are already checking in. Brother Nasir is checking in with us. Well, hello there. He's sending good evening love to everybody. Peace and blessings. Always peace and blessings to you, Brother Nasir. Always, always, and always happy to have you here with us. And Nick Taliaferro, you know what? Yes, heavens to Murgatroyd. Good old Snagglepuss. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hi, Nick. I missed you. I miss you so much. You know we miss you. You know we do. But, I won't make this a huge, huge love fest. I won't do that because we have so much to cover in tonight's show. So much, so much. So, family, what I want to do, okay, is get started because, like I said, we have so much, so much, so much going on. Our first guests of this evening are just stopping by, but they're stopping by to talk with us about an upcoming Historical Society of Pennsylvania event in honor of Father Divine. Now, for those who might be unaware, the Historical Society of Pennsylvania is one of the nation's largest archives of historical documents. Okay? So, family, I invite you to the conversation with Mel Edwards, a celebrated abstract steel metal sculptor, and Curly Raven Holton, founding director and master printer at Raven Fine Art Editions. Say hello, family. Well, hello, 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 hello. How are you? So happy to have you. Oh, wait. We're having just a short technical difficulty there, Mr. Curly. You're muted.
I'm
You know how
okay now?
Yes, there we are.
You want to hear that baritone voice, right?
I sure do. You know I do. You know I do. How are you today?
Very good. Pleased to be with you.
It is such a pleasure to have you join us, to have the both of you join us, quite honestly. And I know we don't have you for very much time. We just have you for a short period. But because of that, I want our family members to know all about the reason that you are joining us. First, I want to say, in addition to saying thank you, I just want to say that I just believe you both to be just extraordinary human beings. So I want you to know that and to hear me say that. So thank you tremendously for stopping by to share time with us. But please do tell us about the upcoming event.
Justina, would you like to talk about the event a little bit and now talk about the process?
Excellent. Thank you, Carol. Thank you for having us on the show to talk about tomorrow night's event. Curly will be in conversation with Mel at 6:30 p.m. at the Historical Society of Pennsylvania at 13th and Locust. We are going to have some of our collections about Father Divine, photographs and some of his publications from the mid-20th century on view. And then Curly and Mel will be talking about this artist in residency project that Curly has started with us at the Historical Society of Pennsylvania.
Well, you know what, if I might interject now, Justina, hello, beautiful.
Hi there.
I have you here. I'm looking at you. I'm listening to you. And I had the misunderstanding that we were going to be talking with Mr. Edwards. So please do tell us who you are, Justina.
Thank you,
our family
Carol.
members. Wait a minute.
I have the privilege of working at the Historical Society of Pennsylvania as the Director of Education and Programs. So I do what you do. I do all the behind the scenes stuff to find wonderful guests who will bring the past in conversation with the present and help our public understand some of our 21 million documents, books, and graphic items that we have. We have incredible things. We have William Still. We have Octavius Catto. We have Constitution, Ben Franklin stuff. We have so much stuff, but we need people like Curly, who's an artist, and Mel Edwards, who's an artist, to help interpret it for our public, to make those things come alive and bring them to us today in the present.
Wow. So you, Mr. Holton, you have a very important responsibility at this event.
A responsibility and an opportunity as well, because I think when your introduction, I saw how similar the mission of HSP, the Historical Society, is. In this particular project, it is about love. It's about life. It's about telling a story that's not always so present, stories that are in the shadows sometimes. And these artists, like Mel Edwards, who is a renowned artist, a leading artist, American artist, who just got back from Berlin. So he had some adjustments to travel. And so that's probably why he wasn't able to attend tonight. But it is an opportunity for artists of his stature to come into the collection, to see the collection with a different set of eyes, to help tell that story and help personalize the story. Because looking at historical documents sometimes can be at a distance. This particular kind of project brings the information closer, helps you translate the information, helps you interpret the information. And it's a very powerful tool in better understanding the narrative and the story that HSP has to tell of our existence in America.
Mm. Well, I mean, it sounds absolutely, it sounds wonderful, quite honestly. I'm curious to know, like from where the idea came, like who said, okay, we must host this event. Like this has to be done. From where did the idea come?
Well, a lot of credit goes to Dr. Brigham, who's the director of HSP. We've had a long collaboration as fellow artists and art advocates. And we've always talked about different projects and how the arts could be a central part of how we tell our story.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an opportunity recently to talk about the importance of artists in telling historical stories and reinterpreting and presenting that story. And I said, why don't we try to establish a residency program that's never been established before in a historical society, such as HSP. So we identified a group of artists and invited them in, and two initially identified their interests. And these are two artists that are not only renowned artists internationally, but have a very high interest in the narratives of people of color, also of the historical importance of this material. So they are bibliophiles, they're researchers, they're thinkers, they're scholars. And often visual artists aren't thought about as scholars, but these are scholars who happen to use the visual arts as a way in which they document their interests and their insights and their investigations as scholars.
Oh, see, I'm excited about this because I get to get an education. I love that.
That's what it is. This is about education, about pulling the curtain back and taking information that normally is, as I mentioned, at a distance because it's historical, it's national, but this personalizes the information and gives you access, an avenue by which you can enter into the material and engage it as an individual. It is a universal story, but it's also our particular story at the same time.
I love that. I want to take a moment to go to our phone line. Some of our family members are calling in to join the conversation. I believe we have Miss Audrey waiting. I'm terribly sorry to have you waiting, Miss Audrey. How are you today?
I'm good. And a warm welcome to your guests. Making sure that our history is not forgotten is certainly important and of relevance. Carol, the reason of this call, and this song comes to my mind, Bootsy's Rubber Band, I feel sanctified. I could laugh, I could scream to the top of my lungs because nationally we can begin to heal. Mr. Donald J. Trump's business license has been taken from him via a New York judge. And she has put sanctions on some of his attorneys, and that's a feel-good situation.
That's an exceptionally feel-good situation, Miss Audrey. I can't thank you enough for sharing that information because I was unaware. So thank you.
Yes, I was watching the national news, and I could have. This roof would have caved in if I would have hollered. Thank you so very much to your honorable guest and to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you. Oh, Miss Audrey, you hear that little sunshine Miss Audrey just gave us? I do believe we have Ron waiting to talk with us as well. Hello, Ron, and thank you so much for calling.
Hello. I want to talk about Father Divine. His real name is George Baker, and I met him with Daddy Grace when I was much younger, and Mother Divine. And the recording used to have her on, you know, after he made transition. And thank the work that Father Divine did. The lady that raised me, we ate many dinners at his place there on Fairmount Avenue. And him and what's his name, Daddy Grace, the church that Jeff Bradshaw, mother attended to, they was down in Miss Bradshaw, all of them knew him too. So I want to thank Father Divine for having the vision of not only feeding bread of heaven, but bread of life. And it's that I've met so many people that in my life, but I want to thank him. And he was doing what Elijah Muhammad was doing way back in the day. The least of these, even with the spirituality. I never forget they had an incident because he had a place down Gordon Morton too. And one of the places, one of the persons came in and he was not very, very clear thinking with Father Divine there. And all the rest of the things that he had did, Father Divine. I'm glad that you'll remember him. He had gas for people, that had cars, that was really haircuts he used to give out like 25 cents or something like that. So this is purpose in life, and I'm glad that my eyes have got a chance to see him and my ears heard him like many others that he's given. You know, Cal, I had to make a choice, and excuse me for this, deviating from this, what I'm talking about now. I had to make a decision last night after I woke up this morning and came out of I usually fast once a week. It's going to hurt me for a little while, you know. And in our life, I say this, and I'll just get off, that in sometimes we have to accept things. We can respect many things, but in our lives, being able to accept things that, you know, it sends you. But I'm going to need the number. I'm going to need the number, Cal. If, you know, somebody got my post office box, they can send the number. I need the number of your guest that comes on Thursday night, the lady.
Dr. Z, yes.
Yes, I need her number. And I will pay her. I know she's a business or whatever, and I know you just don't, I don't expect anything for nothing. I want to use her service for something that I would like her to do for me. So if I can get that number, get her number, or either call her or send her, somebody to send her number to my mail post office box that know her and send it to my box so I can get in touch with her. I would appreciate it. It would mean so much to me that I would like this lady. And the reason I choose her is because when I hear this lady talk on your show and share information, I pick up the sensitivity in her, you know, in her comments and after she makes, you know, comments on whatever thing. So I'm glad that y'all people are remembering Father Divine. You know, it's the divineness that's in us. Just like the cow, her divineness, acknowledge the divineness in the children and other people that's not on her level. That's the gift of life. So if anyone can get that lady number to me, my post office box, I'd be more than glad. Once again, I don't want to sound redundant, but I want to pay her to do something for me. And only I've selected her because I pick up her sensitivity. All right, everyone have a nice night. Be blessed. Thank you.
You too, Ron. As always, I thank you so much.
Both your guests really connect to what we're doing at HSP, is that the effort is a redemptive effort, is to tell the story, to redeem a certain kind of innocence and a certain kind of honesty. And I think both guests are pointing to that in the stories that they've told, that there's a desire to celebrate our humanity, Father Divine's love and notion of peace and brotherhood that transcends racial identity, that is a larger quest in how do you control communities and discrimination, how to overcome that with a certain kind of sense of humanity and divine love that transcends that. And I think this project would bring Father Divine forward, using a major artist like Mel Edwards to celebrate this, brings that story forward so that we can recover a certain kind of innocence and redemption and clarity. So I think it connects not only with the theme of your show, but the concerns your guests have.
I happen to agree with you wholeheartedly. I truly do. Family, for those of you who are just joining us, you are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We are talking with Curly Holton and Justina Barrett. We are talking about an upcoming event which will take place tomorrow. The event is the Historical Society of Pennsylvania's event in honor of Father Divine. Before we go to commercial break, could you tell us once again the time it will take place?
Yeah, that's going to be at 6:30. That is going to happen tomorrow, and that's 1300 Locust Street. You can join in, you can register and be live and present with this historic discussion. And keep in mind that the artists and I collaborated on producing a fine print that is available for the public to collect. So it's not just interpreting history and celebrating our story. You can actually acquire one of these prints that grows in value, that represents this kind of belief in our that the story has merit and the story should be told and celebrated. And of course, the collaboration and importance of the treasures at HSP. So that happens again tomorrow at 6:30, a dialogue between myself and Mel Edwards. And as I mentioned, you can get it on Zoom or you can actually attend live tomorrow at 6:30.
I love that. That's tomorrow, Wednesday, September 27th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We've been talking about the Historical Society of Pennsylvania's event in honor of Father Divine. I want to thank you both so much for coming to visit with us. Family, stay with us. We're going to commercial break, but we will be right back.
What are you waiting for? If you've been enjoying the information and interviews WURD provides every day or come out to our community events, it might be time to become a member. This year marks the 20th anniversary of WURD, and there's no better time to join the forward movement. Sign up or renew your sustaining membership at just $90 or your digital membership for just $5 a month. Join online at wordradio.com/membership or pick up the phone and give us a call at 215-425-7875. Press 4 for assistance. The time to join is now.
What am I waiting for?
Numbers count when it comes to blood cancer. Did you know the blood cancer survival rates are 3% lower for Black patients and 2% lower for Latino patients than for white patients? The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society aims to change these statistics by empowering communities with free access to blood cancer information, resources, education, and support. If you or your family are coping with a blood cancer, call LLS today at 1-800-955-4572 or visit lls.org to learn more.
This Wednesday's Powerball jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $835 million. $835 million. So don't forget to play at your local retailer or online. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Want to get out of just about anything and look like an earth-saving hero? Just use the environment excuse. High school reunion? Sorry, can't. Planetary obligations. Unfortunate bridesmaid's dress. Unfortunately, you promised the climate you'd buy more vintage. Chauffeuring teens? The earth really needs them to hoof it. The environment is always the best excuse. Find your out and opt in to cutting carbon. Just visit theenvironmentexcuse.org. Brought to you by WildAid.
Put your phone on DND. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on DND. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is your celebration.
Greetings, I'm Brother Shamari. I wouldn't have a voice if it wasn't for WURD Radio, Black Talk Media in the city of Philadelphia. 20 years, y'all. Let's celebrate 20 years of a Black institution. Let's celebrate the Lomax family for bringing this wonderful institution to our people. And let's support it and work to make sure we have 200 more years of Black Talk Media.
Hi, my name is Jordan Brogan, CEO at Center for Families and Relationships. Just want to wish WURD Radio a happy 20th anniversary, and thank you so much for everything you do to support the community.
We're celebrating 20 years of progressive Black Talk Media. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. So, because today is Tuesday, you know what we do on Tuesdays. We have our tune-up, and today is no different. I do want to express my gratitude to both Justina Barrett and to Mr. Curly Holton for visiting with us. Excuse me, for visiting with us. And for those of us that have fond memories of Father Divine and everything and his legacy, I do hope that you too will enjoy the event if you intend to go. And I want to make sure that you know it is tomorrow, Wednesday, September 27th at 6:30 p.m. You could actually find out more information on the website, Raven Fine Art Editions. You could look on their website to find out more information if, in fact, you have an interest in attending. I do want to share some love with our family members that are joining us by way of socials. Tony Brown. Hey there, Tony. Where have you been? It's been a while, Tony, but happy to have you back with us. He's sharing some love with the entire WURD family. Malcolm. Hi there, Malcolm. He says that he's watching and listening from West Mount Airy. You know, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Always. Letitia Flanders is joining us. Well, hello, beautiful. Hello. And Soul First Apparel is sharing, listening in, and watching from Chicago. Well, greetings to you as well. Nick Taliaferro is sharing jokes. You know what? I'm going to beat you with a wet noodle. You hear me? Talking about divineness. Harry shares that his mother always told him about Father Divine. I know I used to hear so many stories. And South Soul First Apparel shares, I grew up in South Philly, and I remember going to Father Divine's restaurant and barbershop on Broad Street. I know, right? I know. Cheryl Hicks Lucas is sending love. Hello, beautiful. Dagmar Mitchell is joining us and shares, my aunt made it her business to eat at Father Divine's. She was so impressed with him. I love all of these good memories and stories that you all are sharing. I love that. Joanne Dorman is joining us. Well, hello there. Sending love and peace to everybody. Malcolm shares, he was way before my time. I heard and read about the stories of Father Divine. I know they were magnificent ones because that's all I ever heard. And Michael Upshaw is joining us as well, and he's sending his love, saying good evening to everybody. So I was telling you, Tuesdays, we do our tune-up. That is no different, okay? So as a result of that, what we have with us, or who we have with us next, is none other than Dillon Swaine. For those of you who are unaware with who Dillon is, he is a widely talented fitness coach, athlete, and entrepreneur, amongst so many other things. He's also the CEO and founder of his own fitness company, Swaine Train, and is here to talk with us about the importance of protein intake. So, family, I invite you to the conversation with Dillon Swaine. Hey there, Dillon.
What's up, Carol? Happy Tuesday. Hey,
Happy
family.
Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. So happy you could join us. Always happy to have you here. What's wrong with my mouth? What am I trying to say?
You know, every time I come on the show, there's a stutter, you know, it's that effect, you know?
I needed that laugh.
It's the rip body effect, feel me?
You know what? Thank you for that. You gave me just a good hearty laugh. Thank you, Dillon. Thank you for that.
How you doing today?
I'm good. I have no complaints. Ain't no need to complain.
Cool. Cool.
All right. So what do you have for us today about our protein? Why do we need protein?
Yeah, protein is a good topic. Um, it's the only thing that's actually going to help us keep that body that we want. Like if we get 3, 5, 10 pounds down, the only way we can keep it off is by having enough protein intake. If we end up doing more work at work, or more work at school, more walking, the only thing that's going to make sure you keep that nice body, this toned physique, is protein. And we always hear this online: protein, 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 protein. But we never really go into we have in the past, but we don't really do it on a repetitive basis as to why your body needs protein and why you need to emphasize protein, not just your carbs. So we can talk about that and some aesthetics, so for those who are trying to, I remember Frey said something incredibly funny last week. She said something like, I need a body redo or something like that, or reset. It was body reduction. It was hilarious. But speaking on that topic, it's like, if you want to get into an aesthetic figure that you have in your mind, it's highly achievable. No matter what age you are, it's highly achievable to get there. But there's different steps in each level. And that's what we're going to go over today with that protein intake too.
Okay, so is protein what fuels our bodies?
Protein is what fuels your muscle.
The muscle, okay.
Now, your body can actually break down protein and fuel itself. It's something called ketosis. If you ever heard of the keto diet, right?
I've been asking you. Okay, yeah, I need to know what that is. What is that? What is ketosis?
Easy. I'll break it down easy. Ketosis is when your body doesn't have carbs coming in. So it creates its own carbs from protein by breaking down aminos further and further and transforming that into a carb, a glucose.
Oh, I'm sorry if I might interject for one moment. The only time I've really heard the word amino is as it pertains to acid. So are we?
Amino acid, that is correct.
Okay, so when you said breaking down aminos, are we talking about acids?
No. So an amino acid is that is the full name, an amino acid, because of how the molecule is, oriented. This is a chemistry thing. And when it comes to chemistry, words get bigger. When it comes to just easy terms, words get smaller. So I want everybody to understand, you ought to understand, it's an amino. Amino acids are things like leucine, tyrosine, guanine. What else? Did I say guanine? No, not guanine. Tyrosine. You got.
Listen.
What are other ones? Valine.
We're in science class right now, and we want to know how we can become physically fit. We want to know about our protein. I will not remember any of the scenes that you're mentioning. I can tell you that.
You don't need to remember it at all. It's okay. But if you actually look at the back of your protein supplement,
okay,
everybody has a protein supplement, or everybody has some sort of protein drink that they drink. If you look in the back, you'll see those amino groups, because they have to give it to you, because that's the breakdown. That is what it's made out of. That is what your body is breaking down to create muscle.
So are there any of them that work harder or more or better than the others, or do they just all work in conjunction with one another?
So I love how we go into one topic and we just bridge.
Well, let me tell you something. That's what happens when you talk with me. I'm all over the place.
I love it.
You know that. You should know that by now.
I love it.
I mean, but it's because I want to understand. I know we're talking about protein. You're sharing with us the importance of protein intake. But when you mentioned that, I said, okay, well, what does that mean? What does that mean?
So protein. Yeah. What's up?
Here's Frey. Frey just joined the room. You were just talking about Frey. Frey, Dillon was just talking about you.
Good things. So
all right ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, protein. What is protein? Protein is just a big block that has that breaks down into amino acids. It's like saying I've got a tower and it breaks down into tiny little blocks, like a whole Jenga tower, and it breaks down into tiny blocks. Your Jenga tower is your muscle. Each tiny block is an amino acid. The Jenga tower is a muscle, not the entire body. It's a muscle. You have multiple Jenga towers.
Okay.
Make sense?
It does. It does.
So what the body can do, it's because it's a survival mechanism. It's called ketosis, the ketogenic diet. When you get rid of all your carbs and you put 0 or minimal of like 25 grams of carbs, which is very little, like one piece of regular potato bread and you're already past, like that's not it. You're not on ketosis. Ketosis is when you're letting your body rid itself of the need for carb intake with your mouth. And you're telling your body, you can make your own carbs because I'm giving you protein. And therefore, it's going to start taking away from protein. But I don't ever recommend the keto diet because what happens is, by the way, it does cure epilepsy, by the way. The keto diet cures epilepsy because of the way the amino acids changes your chemical balances in your brain, it actually cures epilepsy. So they give epileptic patients keto diets. It's amazing.
Okay.
But for us who aren't epileptic, a keto diet, it can get you fit. But I don't recommend it because we don't live that sort of lifestyle. The world doesn't operate kindly to the ketogenic diet. There are so many options to carbs. So that's why I always say, if you want to get fit, if you want to get ripped, if you want to get to that aesthetic body, it's going to take your protein intake to be equaling how much muscle you have on your body. Because 1 gram of protein per pound of muscle, you keep your muscle.
Okay.
No matter what sort of diet you're going through, no matter what sort of hardship, no matter what sort of, financial struggle you may be going through, if you can find a way to purchase items that have high protein content and less of the, the big bulky ingredient list that we talk about,
right,
which gives you all these preservatives and whatnot, and just adds fillers and unnecessary sugars and whatnot. If you're able to just get, chucks and sirloin steak and grilled, chicken breast and tuna and salmon, and then you got the beans, the chickpeas, the kidney beans. If you're able to use those things and buy them and cook them, your body's gonna see an immediate difference within 2 weeks. And that's just status quo. What happens is every day we don't actually stick with it. We'll start to pick and dabble in other areas.
Right. Well,
and that's what messes it up. So it's very actually easy if you think about it. It's just, you got to know where your protein sources are, and you got to just eat the protein sources. Focus on the protein. When you want to fill up after you have your protein intake, then you can have maybe some Doritos. Then you can have maybe, I don't know what people eat nowadays when they want to like
Doritos.
Tiramisu cake. I don't know. But here's the thing. You can only eat it. Yeah, I'm saying all these crazy things that'll add weight.
Yes.
But it's a misconception. The only reason why it's adding weight is because it's now in excess. When you have your protein in and your carbs are low, now you have that extra wiggle room in your carbs, which is all of what a dessert is. It's just carbs, which is all of what Doritos is. It's just carbs. So anybody can actually get ripped off of the leanest meats and the nastiest carbs. Because what's going to happen is you put in your protein that keeps all the muscle, and then you fill up your carb intake with whatever you need because it's energy at that point. Your body doesn't need to take from the protein source that it has to build muscle to create energy. Therefore, you're not going against yourself. You see what I'm saying?
I got that.
It's a cool thing about protein.
Let me take a moment because family, before we go to commercial break, I do want to recognize that you all are still sharing so much love about Father Divine, and that just really warms my heart. It really, really, really does. Soul First Apparel shares Father Divine taught us to greet our brothers and sisters with the word peace. I love that. I love that. Frey is saying hello. I'm sharing that Frey is saying hello. And her response to me sharing that you said hello, Dillon. You were talking about her, is that she thanks you for asking about her friend. Keto sounds like a nickname. She says, I don't get it. I'm going the Dillon Swaine way. I love it. I love it. And Michelle is joining us. Hi, Michelle. Hi there. Paula Clark shares, this event is going to be an extraordinary event, the one that will take place tomorrow evening. Family, if you do want additional information about the event that is taking place tomorrow, honoring Father Divine, you can go to the Raven Fine Art Editions website for additional information. But just to let you know, it will take place tomorrow, Wednesday, September 27th at 6:30 p.m. Family, stay with us because we're going to take just a short commercial break. Know that the phone lines are open and feel free to comment, or continue to comment, I should say, on our socials. But stay with us because we'll be right back.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. WURD's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out the recent openings posted on the Livelihood Job Board at wordworks.com. The Wagner Institute of Science is hiring a science outreach educator. The Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia is hiring both a director of finance and operations and an executive director. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative. Brought to you by WURD Radio, progressive Black talk media.
Tune in to WURD Radio this Saturday at 10 a.m. for Saturdays with City Council. Join conversations that matter to your community with your local City Council members.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for summer break
because she may not be having lunch again until September?
Or a single father of 2 who works 3
part-time jobs and still can't put enough food on the table?
Or maybe a mother who cleans offices at night,
hoping to find meeting leftovers to take home to her hungry family.
Or a war veteran who's having a hard time landing
a job and getting back on his feet.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to party? The party is about to be on. Join us Friday, November 10th for WURD Radio's 20th anniversary celebration, an evening of Black excellence and elegance at the beautiful Fiddler Club in downtown Philadelphia. A cocktail reception gets us started at 6 p.m. Grab a bite, share a toast, or hang out with your favorite WURD host. And in recognition of this milestone birthday, we're bringing together the owners of the nation's 3 remaining Black talk radio stations, Melody Span Cooper of WVON Chicago, Tavis Smiley of KBLA Los Angeles, and WURD's own CEO Sarah Lomax, exploring the future of Black independent-owned media. We'll have a special live performance with dynamic songstress Carol Riddick, and the house will be rocking with legendary DJ Gary O, spinning music from old school to today. To get your tickets, visit wordradio.com/20th anniversary. And remember, membership has its privileges. 4 WURD members can still continue to purchase tickets at a discounted rate. Your membership will be verified after purchase. Our 20th anniversary celebration is brought to you by Comcast, Bank of America, United Way, Keystone First, Wells Fargo, United Healthcare, and Mainline Health.
We gon' celebrate and have a good time.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick right here on WURD. It is Tuesday, and we are in the midst of our tune-up with none other than Dillon Swaine. Tonight, Dillon is talking with us about protein. Heavens to Murgatroyd. It's protein. I tell you, I still don't have the right ratio of everything, but I actually I've been on my beets kick for the past few days. I've been eating beets because I've just had a taste for my beets. So I haven't been really coupling them with much of anything. I did have a turkey burger the other day, but I've just been mostly craving my beets.
Beet City, huh?
Yeah.
That's not your favorite vegetable, is it? Isn't it like kale?
Yeah. Shut up. You remember that? Yes, it is.
Of course,
Yes,
I
it is.
remember.
I did. Well, I had, you know what I did the day before. I'm not a big breakfast person, but when I do, I like some egg whites. I had egg whites, turkey bacon, and kale the other morning. That's my like favorite.
That's nice. You got to teach people how to make that kale, because I'll tell you right now, it's one bit of green.
I don't put a lot on it. The only thing I do put on it is some garlic pepper. That's it.
Garlic pepper, that's different. I've heard of garlic salt.
I'm not a big salt person, but I put garlic pepper.
Why is that?
I'm not a big salt. I never have been. I've never have been a big salt person, but I put some garlic pepper on it, and it's delicious.
I hear you.
But I mean, I do put it, little either olive oil or unsalted butter. I'll soften it up with, so it's nice.
I need my salt. I don't know how you do it. I need like salt on my chips.
No, I'm not a big salt. I'm not a big salt person. I really never have been. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Oh, Michael just shared something. Well, see that Frey said it sounds really good. Thank you, Frey. You know I will make you some, girl. You know I will. Michael shares that he drinks vegan protein with pea isolate and coconut oil powder. What? Every day. He shares that he adds peanut butter, avocado, and blueberries. Oh, that sounds wonderful. He shares that some people suggest drinking it before workouts, and some say drink it afterward. What would you suggest, Dillon?
For that specific mix, I would suggest first thing in the morning, or like at night, only because of the amount of fat you have in it. It's good fat, but if you're gonna work out, you don't want to put fat in your body, no matter how good it is, because your body's gonna now have to struggle between breaking down this strong fat molecule that's long, and the chain is so long, versus a protein or versus a carb.
That's a lot of fat.
Yeah, like a fat, no matter how healthy it is, it's a long chain molecule. So what happens to the body is that it has to now change up how it's metabolizing. You ever heard of, I have a fast metabolism?
Yes.
It's all like, it's all just retrospect. There is no such thing, in my opinion, as like a fast metabolism. If you have more muscle on your body, you're going to burn fat. You're going to burn calories at a faster rate, because you need to protect the muscle you have on your body. You need to protect and feed what you have on your body. And what moves your skeleton is protein. It's your muscles, it's your ligaments. So it has to feed it with energy. And that's where the calories comes in. But it's easier to break down calories from carbs first, protein second, then fat third, which is why it's way harder to lose fat than it is to put it on.
You have to tell me that.
Come on, don't do yourself like that.
That I know. That I know. Frey shares that she was in the country about a week ago, and her cousin made a pot of kale. Yes, and she said they were so good. Let me tell you something. Listen, ooh, that would do me right. I would literally eat a pot of kale greens for the entire week. I would have some beets in there, every other day. I would have a plate of beets, but some kale greens, what? And Jay, hey there, Jay. Missed you. Where have you been? Jay shares, if you know how to use herbs, you really don't need salt. I say that too.
That's
Jay
right.
shares,
Seasoning.
I use very little salt in all of my dishes. That's how I am. But you know what?
That's
Because
right.
I'm huge with herbs, but I also like the taste of some of the foods. Like I like the taste of the food itself more than I do seasoning.
You like to taste the kale?
Yes, with garlic pepper. Yes, I
Well,
do.
there you go. The seasoning.
Yes, I yeah. But I don't put a lot. You don't need a lot. I mean, seriously, I really don't. You don't need a lot at all. I like sprinkle. I
Do you
sprinkle it on there just
do
a
you
little.
sear it? Sear it. Do you saute it? Do you grill it in a pan? Do you oven bake it? What do you do?
So I saute it. I do. That's what I was saying. I saute it with a little olive oil,
Mhm.
or unsalted butter, either or,
I
just to
remember you
loosen
saying
it
that.
up. Just to break it down a little bit but it makes it more palatable to me as well. Yeah, it just, I mean, it's
Mhm.
just wonderful. But I also, I mean, I put kale with practically everything that every meal I'll eat kale with it. If whether it's my breakfast, my dinner, if I
It's
slow
really
cook some
good.
turkey legs or wings or what have you, I'm throwing kale in there. Or
That's
if I'm
really
making a
good.
soup, I'm putting kale in there. If I make chili, I'm putting kale in there. So kale is my go-to.
Kale and chili. I am not eating your
Yeah,
chili.
you don't have to. It's wonderful though.
I'll try it though.
No, no, you don't understand the blessing you just missed. You don't understand. You
I'm
yes, it
telling
is.
you,
It's
Kale and
excellent.
I don't have a good relationship. You know what it is? When you go through a bodybuilding phase in your life
Okay.
and you actually dig down deep and you go to the most blandest stuff possible, because if you're bodybuilding, let's say in your 20s and 30s, or even 40s and 50s and 60s,
Okay.
and you're bodybuilding for a show, you're going to be eating raw foods most of your time. You're not going to put salt in your body because it's going to retain water and make you look bigger, and it's going to cover your muscles with water, the subcutaneous water. So
I'm
they
going to
end up
get
eating so blandly. I'm
Mm-mm.
telling you right now, that kale, ooh,
I
bittersweet with
can't.
me.
But I would. You know what? Phrase says that kale chips are not a tasty snack at all. They
Thank you.
taste like cooked leaves. Let me tell you, I have never
Thank you.
tried kale chips. They don't look appetizing to me. So I have no desire to try a kale chip.
I'd rather
So
eat a kale
Frey,
chip than a seaweed chip.
ooh, I don't want either. I'm going to pass on both of them. Jay is sharing. Jay, I'm going to take you up on that because yes, I would love some kale and smoked turkey necks. Yes, because I do make that. Yes, so yes, I would love some. Um,
Smoked
so
turkey neck and kale goes well. It's like
Frey
collard
has a
greens.
question. Frey has a question. She
What's up, Fred?
asks, "Is it a myth that men's metabolism is faster than a woman's? That a
Heck
man's
to no, that
metabolism?"
is a truth. And that's based off of one thing. Can you guess it, Carol?
No, I cannot.
If a
Testosterone.
male burns more, has a faster metabolism, a male, can you guess why that male has a faster metabolism?
Testosterone. I don't know. Why?
Boom.
Oh, that's the reason.
I'm going to tell you how powerful that hormone is. That hormone can be the difference between productivity, mood, the way your body looks, the way it develops, the way it's shaped, the way you go about your day. Everything relies on testosterone for a man.
Oh, wow.
Fortunately and unfortunately, everything relies off of testosterone, which is why Jamaicans really get it going, and they're always going because they got the Irish moss, they got the soursop, they got the merengue tea, they got the
See, I don't know what any of that is.
big up my brethren out there, because listen, anybody who's Caribbean, anybody who's of ethnic origin, nobody who's just like born in America, not downing it, nobody who's just born in America will know of these options in the food world. But those who are Caribbean, who are ethnic in like Latin countries, even you like Russian, Asian countries, they all rely off of herbs to cook their foods. Maybe it has something to do with struggle in the society at one point, but listen,
Healthy,
way healthier.
yeah,
And
I
those
mean, I would
types of,
think.
yeah.
I would think at its core,
Core
from
for sure.
yeah, that's from where it would come.
It's the
Family,
base.
listen, I'm looking at the time. I am looking at the time. And it's time for us to take a break. But well, Dillon, you won't be back after the commercial break. Oh my goodness.
Really?
It
What
went
time
by
is it?
so quickly. Yeah.
Lord
It's
have mercy.
I know. So Dillon, thank you for joining us this week. I mean, you're welcome to hang out a little bit longer if you'd like to do so.
Can I say one last thing?
If you hang out a little bit longer, you can, because we're
Awesome.
going to go to a commercial break. So family, stay with us because we'll be right back.
Get ready for EcoFest, a celebration of environmental justice in our city. As WURD marks its 2 decades on the airwaves, we're not just reminiscing about the past, we're blazing a trail for the future. Held at One Art Community Center on October 9th, EcoFest will be centered around creating Black green futures. Join us for captivating panel discussions, electrifying musical performances, educational workshops, and a diverse lineup of vendors offering everything you need for a sustainable lifestyle. Make sure you tune into EcoWord every Friday at 10 a.m. hosted by POC for all the exciting event details you won't want to miss. We can't wait to see everyone at One Art Community Center on October 9th for EcoFest. Brought to you by the Alliance for Watershed Education, Keystone First, the Energy Co-op, and the Fiddler Club. Stay tuned and stay inspired only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
To the big-hearted, the bold, the teachers, the growers, the builders, the change makers, we need you. We are the Peace Corps. In more than 60 countries, we go the distance to make a difference. We're volunteers, partners, communities, bringing our experience, joy, and passion to building a better world together. Are you looking for more? Then we are looking for you. Join us at peacecorps.gov.
A tree can be a warrior, battling global challenges with greater courage. A tree can be a solution, cleaning our air, supporting our communities, and protecting our wildlife. A tree can be noble, growing hope in every corner of the world. That's why now is the time for trees, millions of trees. Join our planting movement at arborday.org.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed this week on Reality Check.
We were talking about development earlier on the show as it relates to the 76ers trying to move into this downtown arena that they want to build, that they are proposing, that the community opposes. And they oppose it for a number of reasons, one of which is once they put that arena in that area, things are going to skyrocket down there. Philadelphia does not have a real good affordable housing system. When you look at all these apartment buildings going up, and I mean everywhere in the city, what you're not going to see is what it takes to live in those apartment buildings. It takes people, they're asking for 3 times the rent. They are asking for credit scores above 650. And I'm not saying that those are not reasonable things, but at the same time, they are adding to the barriers for people getting into new construction apartments in particular. And now a lot of private owners are following along.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds this week from Reality Check on WURD Progressive Black Talk Media.
We're bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD Radio, 900 AM and 96.1 FM, WURD, Philadelphia. Celebrating 20 years of progressive Black Talk media. Streaming online at WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Did you see that? You see all that was trying to happen at the same time? Just all kinds of things were trying to go on at the same time. What is happening? What is happening? Well, guess what? We rebuke it. So I was sharing with you that Dillon is about to leave us, but he will be back, God willing, next Tuesday for our tune up. But before we let you go, Dillon, I believe one of our family members is calling in and may very well have a question. So hello there. Thank you for calling. Are you still with us? Is this Ron T? Did we lose you, Ron T? I think we did. So, Dillon, what will you leave us with this week?
Okay, sure. So, family, what I'm gonna leave you with is that on the website, we always post it here, but we're gonna do it again. It's thedillonswaine.com. You can check out the challenge. There's a challenge if you are stuck in a queue, in a pending point of your life, where you're trying to transform your body, change your habits, get rid of your vices, or just have some sort of fitness goal in your mind that you're trying to achieve. That challenge is a surefire way to get you momentum that you need in order to see the success. It takes momentum. Many people have gotten to their goal with that challenge. Also, there's a Rip Body Roadmap. It's going to teach you literally through a course that it's like I talk to you, but it's all recorded. And it's in a format where I can just easily give you things that are digestible, informative, and actionable. That's the key here. Actionable, that you can take with you on a day-to-day basis, not just like literally like wait till the next course. No, every single lesson there's an action step, and it's going to help you get to the body and the phase of life that you want to be in regarding your fitness.
Dillon, I believe we do still have our family member on the line. Hello, Ron T, are you there by any chance?
Yeah.
Hi,
I'm still.
Hey, Ron T.
How you doing, Dillon?
Good.
I got a question for y'all.
Okay.
I'm 83 years old.
Awesome.
I'm 5'6". I'm 136 pounds.
Awesome.
But what I'm trying to do is get some weight on.
I knew you were going to say
now
that.
I do low yoga. I do push-ups, like 80 push-ups. I do a lot of walking. So, but I'm not satisfied with the weight of my 136. I'm trying to get more weight on than that.
Okay. Would you want? So, what's your exact question? Just putting on weight?
Yeah. I'm trying to find out, how much, what I can eat or what I can do to put on some weight.
Okay, cool. I rock with that. So, I'm gonna give you 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Usually, we understand 3s. Number 1, protein, just like how we talked about for the theme of today. Protein is what.
Okay. The protein. Okay.
Protein is what's going to fulfill your muscles in its transformation, in its growth.
Okay.
As you walk, as you tone up your body in your walks, as you do your changes. Number 2, it's adding some sort of resistance to your daily life. Okay. Now, as you walk, it doesn't matter where you are in life. You can literally just add 10 pounds to your body as you walk for 10 minutes. Oh. It's just 10 minutes. And what will happen is you're now walking with more weight on your body, so you have to squeeze your core tighter as a consequence. You're just going to have to. Your back's going to get tighter. Your shoulders are going to get broader to take on the weight on your shoulders. It's just that tiny little bit of weight. I recommend that sort of thing because as a man, it builds testosterone, and that's the third thing, testosterone. The third thing is that you ought to be doing exercises that emphasize and aid towards your testosterone. So I'm gonna just leave it there. And when it comes to your testosterone and helping your body have an increase of that of the hormone, 10 reps of anything heavy. I'm not talking about extremely heavy. I'm just talking about heavy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dylan, would it
10
help for
reps,
the two of
5
you to
sets.
communicate offline? Would it help? Would that help? Would a conversation offline help?
Of course. You know, you guys can always reach me. Anybody can reach me at literally any social media. The Dillon Swaine. It's the same thing for everything.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the protein is the important part that you know, to help me get where I want to get at, right?
That's the base.
Okay. Then, were you saying something? There was something else besides the protein?
With your eating?
Yeah. I mean, would that help? Something else besides the protein help to put on the weight?
See, that was my suggestion. That was why I suggested you two talk, so you could get a better idea of what his diet is, so you could talk in depth about, you know, what.
Right.
You know.
So we have another guest coming on the call. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to cut it short. But you can also hit me up on anything. Like, take that extra initiative. I don't have your Instagram. I don't have anything. So take the extra initiative, and I'll type it in the chat actually before I leave, and you could just follow me anywhere, anyone. I'll get it and I'll hit you up.
Can I give you my number then? Okay.
You know what?
Hit
we'll
me
do?
up off the line. Yeah.
This is what we'll do. I'm going to ask Nick. Nick is my producer. He's going to get your number because I don't want you to share it on air. Nick is going to get your number and he's going to share it with Dillon so Dillon can reach out to you.
Okay, good enough.
Sweet.
Okay, you got the number. Because you know, I gave him my number. Well, put him back on and I'll give him the number if I didn't give it to him.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Thank you, Ron. Thank you so much. Dillon, okay, now I'm going to let you go. We are going to see you next week, God willing. We'll be back next Tuesday for our tune-up. Because that's what we do on Tuesdays right here on Love and Life. So, Dillon, thank you so much, as always, and enjoy. Frey says you're glowing, so enjoy that glow, and we'll see you next week. How about that? Does that work? Oh, see that, Frey? There you have it. Enjoy, Dillon. See you next week. Bye.
Bye, family.
Bye. Oh my goodness. All right. So family, I told you we have so much going on tonight. But what I also did share with you is that I have another guest that I do want you to meet. Our next guest is Dr. Paul Gittens. He is one of the country's leading specialists in sexual function for men and women, hormone replacement, male infertility, and wellness. There's so much more that I want to share with you about who he is, but I want you to meet him more importantly. And because we only have an hour to talk with him, I'm going to try to work some of that into our conversation. So without further ado, family, I invite you to the conversation with Dr. Paul Gittens. Well, hello, Dr. Gittens. And
hey, Carol, how you doing? Really nice to be on.
I will not complain. It's been a while.
I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute, but you know, I'm just excited to be here. You know, I haven't been in your company in a while, and I always have a good time when I come on your show. So I was excited all day, all week, and so here we are.
Me too. Well, family, he's not sharing with you that I've been chasing him. I've been trying to get him here. So, so I've been excited myself to have you come back to join us. So what I want to do, though, like I said, we have just, we're shy of an hour now. So I want to jump right in because we have some questions for you, if that's all right.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
All right. So I want to start with erectile dysfunction. Because I believe that is and I want you to correct me, as I know you will, if I am wrong, one of the like sexual health issues that a lot of men experience, or a good number, I would say, of men experience. Can you explain to us exactly what it is? What is erectile dysfunction?
So, I mean, I think, you're exactly right. It's a problem that many men suffer from. Actually, when you look at the data and you see how common erectile dysfunction is, you'll see that if you're 30 or 40 years old, there's about a 35% chance of you having erection problems. If you're 50, it's about 50%, 60%, and then if you're 70 years old, it's about a 70% chance that you'll have erectile dysfunction, which I like to call erectile difficulties, but erectile dysfunction. So that means if you're 50 years old and there's 100 other 50-year-olds in the room with you, and somebody says, listen, do you guys have erectile difficulties? 50% of that room is going to raise their hand. So it's so common.
That's a high percentage.
It's a high percentage. And when we look at erectile dysfunction, so what it is it's really the inability or the difficulty with starting or keeping an erection, right? And so when I'm in my office and we talk about erectile difficulties, we talk about starting, keeping, or initiation and maintenance. So there's some guys that have just a bit of a problem starting, right? And so they have an issue with their maintenance. We have a bunch of guys that can start, but as they're having intercourse, things don't work out as well as they want to. Maybe their erection will go down. Then you can have a combination of both. And then on the severe side, there's some guys that when they're trying to initiate intercourse, their erections just don't go up at all. So there's a variation of erectile difficulty. That's what I like to call erectile difficulties, and I'm not trying to be soft about it. But when guys hear dysfunction, it's something that, and when I think of the word dysfunction, it means that it doesn't work at all, and it's not all or none. There's a lot of variation in between. So I like to say erectile difficulties, but it is called erectile dysfunction.
No, but I appreciate that. I so appreciate that. I'm an advocate of changing, what some of the popular titles of some of the things that we use a lot as well. So I appreciate that, erectile difficulties. So now that excuse me, you've shared with us that there's such a high percentage. What are some of the potential causes of erectile difficulties?
So when you look at the causes, the number one cause is really getting older. I mean, that's really the number one cause. Age just goes hand in hand with a number of things, and one of the things is erectile difficulty. So our penis doesn't get better as we age, but we hope that other things get better, or maybe our wisdom, or the way we view the world maybe get better. But unfortunately, our penis doesn't get better. There's a lot of other things that contribute to erectile difficulties, and when we classify them into a number of different categories. And just the big categories are things that happen to our blood vessels, right? And so if you're a diabetic, if you have high blood pressure, if you have high cholesterol, right, those things are going to either clog the artery, or they're not going to allow the artery to do its job. And the artery is a blood vessel that gets blood flow to the penis, right? And so it's not going to be able to do its job because those arteries may be clogged, or they may have some dysfunction in the arteries. And so they're not able to get the blood flow there. There's other areas, like some people that have some nerve or neurological problems. So if you had a stroke, right, or if you have a spinal cord injury, then that can lead to erectile difficulties.
Oh, wow.
Hormones are a big thing. I just saw your last guest. He mentioned hormones, and we always think about testosterone, even though testosterone doesn't play a big role in erectile difficulties, but there's a lot of other hormones that can also affect it, like thyroid issues. Serotonin, so just a number of other things that can lead to growth hormone deficiency, and other things that can lead to erectile difficulties. One of the more common things is actually something that we call adrenaline-mediated erectile dysfunction. And so what's that, right? So what's adrenaline-mediated erectile dysfunction? That's a category that we used to say that, it's in your head, like you're overthinking things, right?
Okay.
And I think by saying you're overthinking things, I think that's taking the onus away from a biochemical process that's actually happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what is that biochemical process that's happening? So we all have something called this fight or flight response, right? So if we're going to get into a fight or we're going to run, right? Something called adrenaline, norepinephrine goes up, right? And then what that does is it has our heart starts to beat a little bit more, but it actually takes blood flow away from the penis, right? Because when you're going to fight or you're going to run, the last thing you're going to want to do is have an erection, right? Mm-hmm. So it takes blood flow away from the penis and it shifts it to your arms and your legs so you can fight or you can run. So when guys have issues, right? So if guys have some issues with getting an erection, Obviously, their self-esteem is down. They want to, guys want to satisfy their partner. And so what happens is they get the adrenaline surge as they're going to have intercourse the next time. All right. And what the body does is it says, listen, like I had a bad experience. I'm getting a little anxious. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that blood flow from the penis and ship it to your arms and your legs. So you're going to have a difficult time with getting an erection. So that's another big part of why guys have some erectile difficulties. Just in a nutshell, there's other things, but those are some of the main categories.
So, as you just shared with us, there are several possibilities for why a man might have erectile difficulties. Can most of these issues be resolved? Can most of these challenges, I will say, can most of these
Challenges. I like that. Challenges.
Can most of these challenges be resolved?
Yeah, I would say that the majority of them can be resolved. Sometimes we do get a case where the erectile difficulty is so bad that they may need surgery. But even in that situation, it could be solved. So I would say that 99% of the time that somebody has erectile difficulties, it can be solved or resolved. But it just depends on the type of therapy that the person's willing to go through, right? So, obviously for the milder EDs, it's a lot easier. There's oral medications that we give. You've heard of the Viagras and the Cialises of the world, right? Yeah. There's other things that there are injections, there are pumps, there's internal pumps. In my practice, we focus a lot on more of the advanced treatments in terms of trying to reverse the clock on erectile difficulty. So pushing guys back. So we rehab the penis. So for instance, for some guys that if they're taking an oral medication like a Viagra or Cialis and it stops working, we're able to push them back so then we can get it to work again. So they don't have to go to the next step, which might be an injection or an implant. So we focus on doing a number of those things to help guys, regardless of their path in terms of where they are with their erectile function. We try to push them back so they can have a more satisfying sexual experience.
How do implants work?
Okay, so an implant is a surgery. So we reserve that for the more difficult cases. Okay. And so the way it works is that it's a surgery where there's a cylinder that's actually surgically placed in the penis. All right. Okay. And then there's a pump that's in the scrotum. And then when you pump up the scrotum, then fluid from a different reservoir goes into the cylinders in the penis, and it inflates the penis, and the person can become erect. All right. They can have intercourse for almost as long as they want. Right. And then when they ejaculate or when they get tired, whatever comes first, they can they press the button, and then the cylinders deflate, and they can go on about their everyday rest of the day. They're actually, there's supposed to be a new type of pump that's coming out soon, where it's going to be sort of like a remote control type of thing, where instead of pumping it up physically, they'll be able to use a device that instead of pumping it up, it'll send some kind of signal which will increase the cylinders. So it'll be kind of nice. You can be watching TV and just press the button and there it goes. So we'll see. So that's supposed to be coming out soon. It's there's a prototype that's already out. It's being tested. So hopefully in the next few years it'll be available to the public. So it's definitely a resource that guys can use if they're having some difficulties.
You talk about the advancements in technology. OMG.
Yeah, tell me about it. Back in the day, the old implants, they were more like rods, and so you had to bend them. You bend them down when you weren't using it, and then you bend it up when you were using it. But we've come a long way from that, a long way.
That sounds so painful.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not painful. Hopefully, it's pleasurable.
Okay. Yeah. Well, one would hope.
That's what we want, right?
One would hope. Oh my
goodness.
That
is what we want. So, but yeah, so we've come a long way with those, with implants, as well as I mentioned with a lot of the A lot of the rehab things that we do with core wave therapy and PRP and Botox, so many things that we do now in the office that can really help with erectile function. And we've been at the forefront for those things.
Now, you know, you're speaking Greek to me. Core
Am
wave
I?
therapy. I don't know what
I'm
that
just
is, but
throwing these things out.
but what I want to do, because I'm going to ask you after this commercial break, is to tell me exactly what that is so that our family members can know too. Family, if in the event you have just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. And we are talking with Dr. Paul Gittens. Tonight, we're focusing on our men. We're talking about how we can help our men in several ways. How about that? And
Well,
help
not
ourselves.
just our
I guess
men,
I was about to say help ourselves. We can help
help
ourselves as well because
ourselves.
you carry you cover
Our,
so many areas. So, but in this conversation we were just having, man, that was for us too. Because look at me. That was for us too. How about that? But in any event, know that the phone lines are open. And feel free to call us if in the event you want to join the conversation. And feel free to continue to comment on our socials. But whatever you do, stay with us though, because we'll be right back.
Words of empowerment.
Oh, I am Vera Portier, and I am the founder of Every Heartbeat Counts. Yes, younger generation, please. Life is short. Love one another. Take care of one another. Advocate for one another. Be kind. We're better together. We are better together. Talk to your parents. Reach out to somebody in 100 Black Men. You are loved. I know you feel like we're a little disconnected. I'm willing to talk to you and connect with you and just get on the same wavelength. We love you.
This is Words of Joy and Empowerment on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Audio provided by Love Now Media. These Words of Joy and Empowerment are brought to you by Wells Fargo, Mainline Health, and the Pennsylvania Lottery.
A promise is potent. Born of intention, fueled by commitment, it's seeing things through. Always showing up. And we know a thing or two about promises here at Susan G. Komen. Over 40 years ago, we locked arms with you toward one vision: a world without breast cancer. By investing in life-saving research and standing up for patient rights, we are shifting the system so all people everywhere get the care they deserve. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to raise money to honor the best friend you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Ending breast cancer needs all of us. Visit Komen.org and be a part of the Susan G. Komen community today.
Sometimes it seems the crises just keep coming for children. COVID, war, drought, and famine. They can seem downright relentless. But you know what? So can our response. When helping children unites us, we are a force to be reckoned with. Where there is help, there is hope. It's why UNICEF won't stop, ever. Learn more at unicefusa.org/we won't stop.
Why is WURD important to the community?
Thank you for asking.
Let me count the ways.
And it's one of the most important radio stations in the country.
WURD has always been a platform for Black people in Philadelphia.
We're one of the only Black-owned talk radio stations in the country. We're one of 4 in the nation.
You know, a lot of what's going on in the world today, I think, is a result of people feeling like they don't have a voice.
Without WURD, we wouldn't have such educated, loving, caring people of color who really are interested in what's going on in neighborhoods around the city.
WURD creates such a sense of community in the Black community here in Philadelphia.
It amplifies the voices that are mostly marginalized.
It allows you to speak and be heard and to create your own narrative, your own story.
It's a place where we can share our thoughts, our ideas, our dreams.
You control who and what you say about yourself.
Every community needs a hub.
We are 20 years strong, giving voice to the community, and without the community, there will be no WURD. We are one and the same, and it is not a game. WURD.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. And we are talking with none other than Dr. Paul Gittens, whom I've been chasing. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. But we're happy to have him here to talk with us tonight. And before the commercial break, I was asking him about erectile difficulties, and he was sharing information about such. One of our family members has a question. Dr. Gittens, Alfredia Frey is asking, so how far in advance do you have to use penile implants before things start happening?
How far in advance do you have to use? So if you already have an implant in, I'm assuming, so if you already have the surgery and you're thinking about having intercourse, it's a matter of seconds. All you do is, as I mentioned, there's a pump that's in the scrotum, and so you just kind of squeeze the pump, kind of like remember those old those Nike Air pumps, those Jordans. I think they were Jordans back in the day, right? The little pump. You just pump it up. It's just like that. You pump that up, and then within 30 seconds, the fluid goes from that reservoir to the cylinders, and you're able to have intercourse almost right away. So not long.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm having this whole, wow. It is a process. It's definitely a process. I never really realized, I guess I never really had reason to really think about it, but it truly is a process. So are there things that our men can, well, let me ask this question. Are there things that that men do sometimes that can worsen their sexual health?
Yeah, we're just not in this country. We're just not good at staying healthy, and so as a black man and having, a large family, we have diabetes in our family. We have high blood pressure in our family. We have members of our family that they drink a little bit too much, or they don't exercise. All those things can contribute to erectile difficulties, not controlling our diabetes or getting diabetes. As we know, diabetes is a pandemic in the epidemic in our community, and so what goes with that is being overweight, diabetes, there's something called metabolic syndrome, which causes to have a bigger belly, as well as to have higher risk of heart attacks and strokes. So all those things that negatively impact our body in general is going to negatively impact our erectile function.
Sure.
Right? It's just, the erection is essentially, if you think about it, it's just more blood flow going to the penis and less blood flow leaving the penis. So anything that's going to impede that blood flow going to the penis is going to affect us. And all those things that I mentioned are problems. But there are some other things, that men that had prostate cancer and maybe they had treatment for the prostate cancer. That's a big population of men that might have had surgery or radiation of any kind can cause it, right? As I mentioned, guys have had strokes and things like that. But, the healthier you keep your body, right? And the more you pay attention to those numbers, and those numbers are cholesterol, blood pressure, making sure your PSA is okay, all those things, glucose, making sure your sugars are maintained. If you do all those things, you keep those things in line, then you could be on the other side of that 50%, right? So we talked about the 50% of guys that have erectile difficulties, but we want to be on the other side. We want to be the 50% of guys that are active, that aren't having any problems in the bedroom, right? But we have to put in the time outside the bedroom. We got to put in the time in the gym, or being mindful in terms of what we're eating, right? All those things are really, really important. Um, I find that my guys that come to see me are really motivated. They're motivated when they have the erectile difficulties, but we just have to get to them before they have it, right? And
Sure.
say, that's smoking, that's put that cigarette down, because cigarettes are horrible for erectile function.
Oh, wow. Oh, another one of our family members has a question. She's asking, is it okay for a healthy man to use Viagra?
Yeah, one of the things that we know is that when guys have erectile difficulties, then they have a much, much higher rate within the first 10 years of having a heart attack or a stroke, right? So if that person is using Viagra and they're fairly young, then, I want to make sure that we're taking a look at that person, right? Metabolically. So does that person have high cholesterol, right? Does that person have early or pre-diabetes, right? So we want to look at those things because we want to make sure that if we can find a cause of that erectile difficulties, then maybe we can save them from having a heart attack or a stroke. All right. But taking Viagra itself is not a problem, but it's the reason why you're taking it is really what we have to get to the bottom of. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
It does. She shares, although his cholesterol is a little high, he also has anxiety and he's 65.
Yeah, it's all those things. So I'm sure his cholesterol's a little high, his blood pressure might be a little bit high. There might be some other things going on. So, it's hard to summarize someone's like metabolic function and everything in just a couple words.
Sure.
But, if his cholesterol's high and all those things, I still would make sure that he doesn't have any cardiovascular risk. But just taking the Viagra is okay. I'm okay with taking Viagra as long as his heart's okay, as long as he can walk up a flight of stairs and he's not going to pass out, or he can go outside and shovel snow. He's not winded or anything like that. Then he can take the Viagra. Everybody's worried about Viagra and all these things, but when you look at the times where Viagra might have caused like a death, right? If that person would have gone outside and they would have shoveled snow or done something strenuous, they might have died anyway, because it wasn't really the Viagra that caused the death in most cases. It was actually the activity, right? It was the activity of having intercourse and the activity of maybe having that orgasm when your heart rate goes to 150 beats per minute. That's what really causes some of the issues, but it's not the Viagra itself, right? So we want to make sure that person's healthy.
So, family, for those of you who have just joined the conversation, I want to let you know that we're talking with Dr. Paul Gittens. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly. I should let you know that too, huh? Right here on WURD. But, family, I think it's necessary for me to give you a little more information about Dr. Gittens because I gave you just a little blurb in the beginning, but to give you an idea with whom we're speaking. I did share that he is one of the country's leading specialists in sexual function for men and women, hormone replacement, male infertility, and wellness. But he is also a board certified urologist, fellowship trained specifically in sexual medicine and male infertility, and is a clinical associate professor in obstetrics and gynecology. He founded the Rockwell Centers for Sexual Medicine and Wellness in Philadelphia, New York, and Lehigh Valley, formerly the Centers for Sexual Medicine. Doing this to provide patients a place with expert care where they can discreetly address their sexual medical concerns without being rushed or waiting hours to see a physician. I like that especially. The last one. But so I wanted to give you some context, a better idea, I should say, about the man with whom we've speaking and why I was chasing him down. I should be clear about that. Why I was chasing him.
You're making me feel bad. Oh no,
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 I'm
no.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really teasing. I really am teasing. But because we talk about everything here. We talk about everything right here on Love and Life. I wanted to bring you to our family members because sometimes we don't accept that it's okay to have certain conversations. We as the women, we'll be transparent. We'll talk about different things here, but sometimes our men don't. And I enjoyed the conversation with you in the past, or the conversations we've had in the past, and I really, really, really appreciate um, how you explain everything, how you break everything down, and just your willingness to talk about everything. And it's just an easy conversation with you. And I wanted to share that with our family members so that they
Oh,
too.
thanks for the compliment. I really appreciate it. I love being on the show.
Good. So glad. So, family, I am encouraging you to join the conversation with Dr. Gittens. So far, I've been talking about erectile dysfunction because that was one thing my father and we would talk about. I know that sounds crazy because we talked about a myriad of things, but that was one of the conversations we had just shortly before he passed. Because we were so tight. I was his ride or die, which I appreciated. But I don't know how many men are as comfortable talking with their daughters, or if they have, that person with whom they are comfortable having these conversations. And I know right here, like I said, because we talk about absolutely everything. Oh, thank you, Chloe. Chloe's joining the conversation too. But because we talk about everything here, I wanted to let you know that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So I know you talked earlier about the actual overall so maybe mental health, for lack of a better way of saying it or describing it, how a man's mental health can be affected when he has erectile difficulties. Is there a link between sexual function and mental health?
Yeah, so I think all the things that you just mentioned is so important. Guys just don't talk about their erectile function. I mean, it's your father. The fact that he spoke to you about it is he's one in a million. Um, Men don't even talk to their partner about it. I have so many guys that come into my office and they haven't told their partner. They've been trying to hide from their partner. They try to avoid intercourse. They don't talk to their friends about it. And obviously that can lead to anxiety, depression, all those things. When you look at guys that have ED, there's some pretty cool studies. There's a study that showed that guys that have ED have called out more from work than guys that don't have ED, right? There's studies that show that men with ED, when you look at depression scales and you measure depression from cancer or depression from ED, they rank just as high as a person that has cancer. So, this is something that maybe starts in the bedroom, but it rolls over into everyday life and everyday mental anguish for a lot of men, especially guys that, really feel like sexual function. And I would say a lot of guys do, that sexual function is part of being a man and their manhood and being able to express themselves. A lot of men don't express themselves verbally, and they may express themselves, sexually. And when they lose that, then they lose that outlet of kind of how they feel towards their partner or even towards themselves, right? And it can lead to a lot of mental anguish.
Sure. Wow. So in thinking about this, the statistics or the percentages that you shared earlier, um, is there any particular race or ethnic background whose percentages are higher, or is it across the board?
When you look, it's really probably across the board. I mean, I see a variety of men in my office, but I would imagine, right, when you look at African Americans and the fact that we have much higher rates of diabetes, hypertension, obesity than our counterparts, I would imagine that it would probably swing a little bit towards, us as African American men, and, as African American men, and I'm not stereotyping because I'm one of them, right? It's like, there is sort of a block with talking about like going to a therapist or doing all these things. We just don't do it in our culture a lot, And I find that other races are more likely to do that, like talk to a therapist and all this. I think we're coming around. I really do. but I just find that, and my brothers are the same way. I have 4 brothers, like, and it's just the way that maybe culturally the way we were kind of brought up. But I think that's changing. I know that's changing. I think there's a lot more awareness about mental health and Black men and African American women. And I think that we're getting there. We're getting there.
Mm-hmm. I want to believe that too. Yeah, I know we have a lot of conversations here. So I definitely want to believe that. We do have another comment from one of our family members, but it is time for us to take just another short commercial break. So what we're going to do when we come back is go to our socials and see what you're saying. But in the meantime, we're going to take just a short commercial break, but stay with us because we will be right back.
Come back soon.
What are you waiting for? If you've been enjoying the information and interviews WURD provides every day or come out to our community events, it might be time to become a member. This year marks the 20th anniversary of WURD, and there's no better time to join the forward movement. Sign up or renew your sustaining membership at just $90 or your digital membership for just $5 a month. Join online at wordradio.com/membership or pick up the phone and give us a call at 215-425-7875. Press 4 for assistance. The time to join is now.
What am I waiting for?
Do you need reliable internet for school, work, or other necessities? The federal government's Affordable Connectivity Program, ACP, provides up to $30 off internet bills. Families getting no-cost internet service through PHL Connected must take action to transfer their service to ACP as soon as possible to avoid getting bills. Philadelphia residents can visit getacp.org/PHL or dial 211 for more information and help signing up.
This Wednesday's Powerball jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $835 million. $835 million. So don't forget to play at your local retailer or online. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
I learned it from my adoptive mom. Hold my hand.
You hold my hand. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
And we are back. Welcome back to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We're talking with Dr. Paul Gittens, and before the commercial break, I was sharing with you all that we're going to go back to our socials. So we're going to do just that. Miss Julie is joining us. Hi there. Hello there, beautiful. She writes, Dr. Gittens, regarding G-zone. In both women and men, there are days when I actually believe that there has been too much manipulation of what scientists and doctors actually share regarding known facts. G-zone, where hormones get agitated and released, happens prior to and during intimacy. Is the preceding a correct statement?
G zone. I'm not really sure where the G zone is. I'm not sure if that's the G spot or if that's another zone. So I can't say I'm 100% familiar with that. But there is something that we call the Graafian spot, which is the G spot, and that is the area where there are a certain number of women that when that area is manipulated can have an orgasm or have like excitability.
Okay.
And so if that's the G spot that she's talking about, then
Yes, the G
okay.
spot. Yes.
Okay. And so, so that's, as I mentioned, that's where the G spot is presumably. Some people in medicine think it's, it's not really like a true area, but there are some patients that will say that, once that area is manipulated, then there is like an intense feeling of euphoria.
Okay. Do you believe it exists?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a number of, I've seen thousands of patients. And so, that is an area where a number of women, when manipulated, can feel like, excitable. So, yeah, I do.
And is it located differently? And
No, the G spot, if we can talk about it, right? So, where it's supposed to be is kind of right underneath the urethra. So essentially you go into the vagina, my finger into the vagina, and then you kind of do this come here motion, right?
Okay.
And where the tip of the finger is, that's where the G spot is. That's where it's supposed to be. So that's the area where, as I mentioned, a lot of women can be a little more excitable in that area.
Okay. So do men have an erogenous zone such as that?
It's so funny because I was talking about this today with one of my patients. I don't know how I don't know if the caller's the same caller and they're just like, I don't know, but it's so funny. So, some would say that G spot area is probably kind of where the prosthetic urethra is, so kind of doing like manipulating the prostate from behind. That's what they would say.
Okay.
But it's not as much studied in men as it has been in women. But it's so funny because I just got asked this question. I don't know, something in the atmosphere. Is there some kind of thing going on Instagram or Twitter about this G spot or something like that?
Well, all I have to say is that you lit up. So I said, okay, I could tell that this was
No,
a
it was
discussion.
just reminiscent of today, and so I just thought it was funny. Sometimes things happen in twos, and so I guess this is mine too. But yeah, so it's for some women or men, it's a great area. It's a great area to manipulate. I always say that you have to know yourself, right? And so, you have to be comfortable with yourself. You have to know yourself in order for you to have great sex. And you have to know your partner's got to know you as well. You got to teach your partner. You have to be comfortable with your partner. You have to communicate with your partner. So even if it's over to the left, right? Maybe your G spot is not center. It's over to the left. You got to tell that to your partner. You got to communicate. And I always tell all my my patients, especially the ones that are going into new relationships, is that's the best time to express what you want, right? Because once people start getting into like the same everyday routine and you've been together for 5 years and you say something, the person looks up like, who are you talking to somebody else? Like, what's going on?
Right.
So when you start in that relationship, you want to just be as honest about what's going on in your life, your thoughts, but also your sexual kind of fantasies or what turns you on, or more importantly, what turns you off. Like what doesn't do it for me, so you can really understand each other. So it's really important.
It's a necessary conversation.
Yeah.
As Julie shares that she was not that caller. She shares that her concerns are because when both men and women age, the concentration is on hormonal imbalances. So that was the reason.
So it is, so hormones may play a big role in terms of how we interact sexually, right? And so, as women go through menopause, estrogen goes down, testosterone goes down, a number of hormones go down, dopamine levels in the brain go down. And men, same thing. Dopamine goes down, testosterone decreases, and it doesn't allow you to be as responsive as you were when you were younger, you know. So hormonal balance is really important. I spend a lot of time on hormonal therapy for women, as they age and go through menopause, as well as I do for men. So they go hand in hand.
Oh, that just brought me to something I wanted to ask, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm not going to have a lot of time to ask you, but I wanted to ask you about vaginal dryness in women. And there was a question that someone posed to me, and I didn't know how to entertain that conversation. Is vaginal dryness something that's typical for women as we age, or is that specific to a certain condition?
No, it's very, very common as women age. Um, the vagina is a hormonal organ, right? And so it's responsive to estrogen, and it's responsive to testosterone, right? And as we age, what happens is testosterone and estrogen start to go down, and then we go through menopause, and things really shut down, right? We also see this in women that have undergone chemotherapy for breast cancer or some of the other things, right? So I see a lot of women that have had breast cancer. We have like a whole non-hormonal therapy for them and a program for them, but hormones go down drastically. And when they go down, those receptors or gloves in the vagina are starving for estrogen, and they're not getting it. And when they're not getting it, what happens is they stop making lubrication, so you get some vaginal dryness. But also the kind of the inner lining, we call it the mucosa, or the inner lining of the vagina, all right, also becomes kind of frail, and we call it atrophy, right? And then it can lead to pain, right? It can lead to itching, right? It can lead to urinary tract infection, so many different things, because it changes the whole pH balance of the vagina, right? So, decreased lubrication is something that we see with menopause and as women go older. There's a lot of treatments for that. We use some off-label things. We use a laser called the Mona Lisa laser, which I think is fantastic. It's non-hormonal, so it's for women that aren't interested in hormones for a number of reasons. We do that. I use it on a lot of our patients that have breast cancer where they can't use estrogen, or we use it for women that can use estrogen but they just choose not to, or we use it in combination. We also use just hormonal therapy, so estrogen and testosterone to the vagina can also help. So all those things can be really ameliorated after therapy.
Okay. Well, Dr. Gittens, I think I've picked your brain enough. We've held you hostage for long enough. The time is coming to let you go as well. I want to thank you so much for just coming to visit with us and for sharing your time, your energy, your attention, your knowledge, and your spirit with us. I truly have enjoyed the conversation once again. And I know our family members appreciate it. And we do hope that you will come back to visit with us again.
I'm coming back, and you're not gonna, I'm going to email you and say, please let me come back. Please let me come back. So I don't want you to feel like I'm avoiding you or anything like that. I love being on your show. I think you're a fantastic host, and you bring such knowledge with like like you care so much about our community. It's not just you're just not just out there just saying things, but you can, like, we feel you through the radio and through this podcast, and I really appreciate you doing all the work that you do.
That touches me. Thank you so much, Dr. Gittens. And I'm waiting for our TikTok because we've not done it yet. I've still not done a TikTok yet. So you told me we were going to do a TikTok, so I'm waiting.
We got to do a TikTok. Listen, I'm going to be working. I'm working on that right now, actually. So,
well, I don't know where to begin. So you can help me. You can educate me because I don't even know where to begin. But once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And family. I'm going to let Dr. Gittens go, and I'm going to say my good nights to everybody. So Dr. Gittens, I will talk with you hopefully sooner as opposed to later. How about that?
Thanks for having me. I love being here.
I love having you. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Good night.
Family. Oh my goodness. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. You hear me? As we wrap tonight's episode, you joined us on our socials. I'm going to wrap it up really, really quickly. Just thank you. I love you so much, but God loves you so much more. Be good to you, but be good to those around you, family. Just have a great night. And God willing, I will see you right here tomorrow night on Love and Life on WURD. I love you. Have a good night.